Hi, welcome to my channel Mostly Knitting. I'm Tash and this is a special video where I'll be discussing what I knit in 2023 and a little bit about my plans for knitting in 2024, particularly in, let's say, the first quarter or first half of the year, because I can't plan a whole year straight up, but I can probably plan for the first quarter. And I'll use what I made this year to sort of help inform that in terms of, what's realistic for me to make in a quarter. And also what I liked about what I already made. Am I going to wear it again, or would I like more of the same or something similar? So I won't try on any of these items. I'll just show them up. Some of them I won't be able to show because they were gifted, but I'll put a picture of them up. So in 2023, I knit 53 projects, so averaging about one a week, and some large, some small. There were some weeks when I finished more than one thing and some weeks where I finished nothing. But yeah, on average, one project a week. And one thing I noticed, I'll just jump into them actually, and I'll talk about how many of them I made and what they were and do I like them. Right, so, and this is definitely not in the order that I made them. I'm just starting with sort of large items first, like dresses and pullovers and things, moving down to accessories. So I made 3 dresses and 7 pullovers. So I'll start with that. So about one sort of largish garment like that a month on average. Right, so the 3 dresses that I made were the ebb dress. That was a repeat knit for me, and I used Dingo Dye Works, I think, Rigididge, and I used a bunch of different skeins and color blocked that dress. And yeah, I really like it. This is a really nice sort of spring, cooler spring days dresses, and yeah, I really like it. It's really comfortable. The only downside about knit dresses is generally they don't have pockets, or even if they had pockets, they're not going to be usable because, just would sag too much. But other than that, I really like it, and I've worn it quite a few times. And yeah, like it's a bit sort of crazy with the colors, but I just enjoy the novelty of it, and I definitely have worn it. The other 2 dresses are both the same pattern, and they're actually a sweater pattern that I turned into a dress, and that's the Ilha Sweater, which I turned into a dress, and I used Woolen Rabbit Airy, I think it's colorway Myrtle. I really love this down the side cable panel. It made it more interesting rather than just straight stockinette in the round all the way down, and it's got a really nice hem, twisted stitches, but sort of an offset, like a offset rib. So you do 2 rows in ribbing, and then you offset knit where you purl and purl where you knit. And yeah, I really like that. So I kept all of those features. All those features are in the original pattern, but I just shortened the sleeves and lengthened the body, and I did some A-line increases. And I do have a video on how to space out the A-line increases, which I'll put up there. Right, and the other dress, also Ilha, I used Life in the Long Grass Merino, I don't know, something got linen in it, Merino linen, 10% linen. And this one's a tiny bit short. I just didn't block as much as I was expecting, and I do still have about a half a skein, so I might, and I might actually even do a little bit, just that sleeve ribbing is perhaps a little bit short. I could do with maybe a little bit longer there. And I think to lengthen it, yeah, I might just do another inch of ribbing. There's probably about an inch there. So I don't think I could be bothered taking all of the ribbing out and then knitting more stockinette and then doing the ribbing. I think it would be fine to do. It's not really ribbing, you know what I mean? Like the offset ribbing, whatever, the hem treatment. And I actually like that cable goes all the way into the hem. So they're my 3 dresses. Now my pullovers, I've got all of them here but one. I made the Felix pullover for my daughter Mia. So I don't, I mean, it's in her bedroom, but I don't know. If she, I'll show you, like if she comes out of her bedroom, I don't want to bother her. If she comes out of her bedroom between now and when I finish recording, I'll grab it and show you. But yeah, I really like that one. I used, what did I use? I used Sandara Aran Silky Merino held with Rowan Kid Silk Haze. and I don't know if I would make, I mean, it's for me and not for me, but I found it, like, it's not a hard pattern or anything, but I didn't like, I'd probably have to play with it a little bit. The sleeves were a bit tight, I think, and the body a bit loose. Might have to just, I mean, it's just basically a top-down raglan with some treatment across the, like some lace across the raglan. I would maybe just adjust a little bit, maybe a few more stitches for the sleeves and a bit less for the body. Right, so that's the first pullover that I made. I actually made the ranunculus 4 times this year, but I did 2 with long sleeves and 2 with short sleeves. So the first ranunculus that I made this year, and it was actually the first one in my very first podcast, is this green one, and I used Juno Fibre Arts Alice lace, and I used Camisole wool silky kid, which is just like a silk mohair. So that was my first ranunculus, and I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I love the pattern. So I made another long sleeved one out of Julie Asselin Anatolia, which is and this one had 2 lace weights held together, but one was a silk mohair and the other one was an alpaca silk cashmere, whereas this one here, the Julie Asselin Anatolia, I held double. So it was just a silk mohair held double, and I pretty much did the same thing, and I did like an I-cord treatment around the sleeves. And yeah, I really, obviously I've made 4 of them. I really love this pattern, and these definitely get worn. I wear them generally with like a white tank underneath, and yeah, they're very warm. So there's those. I made Pink Velvet by Andrea Mowry, and I used Volumized Twin in the colorway Feldmaus, and then Ching Fibers, like an alpaca blend for the neckline, which is the sorry, not the neckline, the colorwork, the contrast color. That is the recommended yarn for the sweater, not the Volumized. But yeah, I was really happy with how this came out. I thought it was a really good pairing of, I had lots of back and forthing about the wide neckline, but yeah, it's been fine. I haven't actually, like, I've only, I think I've only worn it once. It hasn't been cold enough since I finished it to wear it, but I feel pretty confident that I will. And I may at some point, maybe later in the year when it's getting cold, I may make some kind of cowl or a hood or something, because I've got plenty of leftover Volumized to just create something, because the back of the neck can get a little bit cold. So there's that one, and let me see what else. So another sweater that I made very recently is the field sweater, and I used Isia yarn, Highland wool and silk mohair, and yeah, I really like it. I think it's really, I didn't really love doing all of the cables. It was slow going, especially towards the end, but I'm really, really happy with the result, and I do think I could see myself making another one. So again, it hasn't been, I actually did wear this in Japan, so this definitely got worn in Japan, and it was lovely and warm, and I'm sure it will get worn this winter here. Actually, I have to say, like, I've been really happy with everything I've made. Even if I haven't worn it, it might just be because it hasn't been cold enough to wear it yet, because it is summer here in Sydney, Australia. The next 2 are definitely real favorites. Like, I love the field, but I don't know, there's something really special about this, very special about this one, the sorrel. I just love that. Sorry, I think the neighbours are playing music. Sorry. I love that dip stitch decorative around the yoke. I love the changes in the colours. So the mohair was a constant, but I used like a mishmash of different yarns. I think this, the sorrel sweater is by Wool and Pine, is a really good sweater for using like a constant mohair, but using yarn that has speckles underneath it. But it is a little bit uncertain as to how the graduation will go, and I definitely recommend swatching, because this color here, this is Barbara Deserved Better, and I think I knit about that much, pretty much the whole thing. Actually, I even got down and did the ribbing. I knit the whole thing here in a different yarn, and it looked muddy and dirty, whereas the rest of the sweater is quite light and bright. So it just didn't work. So I would recommend, if you're going to use a bunch of different yarns, I would recommend, which is what the pattern kind of is written for, You don't have to, you can just use one solid, but I definitely, I would swatch. So I think I used, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then another one for the 5 different yarns. I was trying to use up leftovers, which was great, but obviously just the one mohair all the way through. And my last pullover for the year was the Ilha Sweater. And so sorrel got worn a lot in Japan by mostly by my daughter, and the Ilha Sweater, which is in Madelinetosh pashmina and creme Camisole wool, silky mohair. And then the contrast is Madelinetosh Air Light, and then also Rowan Kid Silk Haze, I think, for that contrast. And I just love this. It's oversized and cozy, and I think there are very few Fair Isle patterns that I've knit multiples of. I knit a lot of multiples, but they're mostly stockinette in the round kind of, or maybe a little bit of like ranunculus, a little bit of texture and cables. But in terms of Fair Isle, apart from the Ingles, which this is my 4th one, I'm not sure that I've made any other multiples of Fair Isle. Like I've made multiples of Paper Dolls by Kate Davies, but I use different, I use the pattern but a different yoke design. So I guess that's not really the same then. Like in terms of the actual same motif, this might be the only one that I've doubled up on. So I just really love the fit and the oversized nature of it. And obviously the yarn is really nice and cozy. So yeah, I'll run through all my knits, and then at the end I'll talk about my plans. So that was 3 dresses and 7 pullovers. So roughly in terms of large garments with either with sleeves or very long, about 1 a month. And I'm sort of keeping that in mind in terms of what's realistic. I probably need to drop back a little bit because my workload's increasing. But yeah, it'll just give me a bit of an idea in my planning, sort of how much I can actually knit. Right, so tops. So I knit 13 tops this year. 7 of them have sleeves and 6 of them are sleeveless. So I'll just grab them. So for my 7 tops with sleeves, I did 2 colour work ones, and they're both wool and yeah, both Madelinetosh Merino Light. So this is Alpine Bloom, which I just finished recently, and that's the colourway Nocturne and Peach Bellini. And yeah, I didn't really love, there's so much colour work in this, I was a bit bored by the end, but that's mainly, I think that's mainly because I didn't have many things to work on in Japan. And so I kind of felt a bit stuck to keep working on this, and that's why I'm a bit better off having multiple projects. So when I'm kind of a bit over it, I'll put it aside, do something else, and then get excited about it when I come back to it. But yes, really, really happy with it. The weather hasn't been cool enough for this yet, but I'm very, very excited to wear it. This will be kind of like a cool spring day, that kind of top. And the other one is Misurina by Caitlin Hunter, and that's Madelinetosh Merino Light, and I think that's Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles. And yeah, I really like this one. I'm really pleased that I did. I ran out of the grey, so I did contrast with the pink, and yeah, I like it. I mean, I think I really probably prefer it if it was just like the little trim, like you see in some sweaters, like if I just the edging was the pink, but I didn't have enough, so it just would have been just too short on the bottom. I really needed all that length. So this one hasn't been worn a lot, but I need to I've pulled a lot more of my knits out of drawers and into kind of cubbies that I can see, so that it just makes me think about grabbing them. So these would be quite nice with some black or charcoal pants for work. So they're my 2 colour work tops. I knit the Anna T, which is a saddle shoulder top out of some Drover and Classer. I think it's 100% merino. This is really lovely and soft. I wouldn't make this pattern again, I have to say. I just found the fit, the sleeves are a little bit too blousy. I don't mind saddle shoulder construction, I actually quite like that look, but I don't know that the fit for this pattern on me was quite as much as I would like it. And rather than messing around with the pattern, I'll probably just find another saddle shoulder pattern and try it out and see how I like it. So that's that one. Now the 2 ranunculus sweaters that I knit, this one is also, it's in short sleeve versions. This is La Bien May Silk Mohair in the colourway Sansa, and I used, I think I had I only had one 500 meter skein, and I think I only used like something like 330 meters because I did short sleeves, and it's pretty cropped. But I've actually worn this quite a few times. It's amazingly warm though, I have to say. Like, there have been times when I've worn it on and the day's gotten a bit warm and I've had a white tank underneath, and I've been very glad. I mean, I have to wear something underneath this anyway, but I've been very glad to be able to take this off because, yeah, the silk really does keep you warm. And the other version that I made, which I haven't worn a lot, this is Barocco I've worn it a few times, Barocco Remix. And this is leftovers from, this is the colorway Eggplant. This is leftovers from my beatnik sweater. Again, I only had like maybe 2.5 balls left over, and I don't know what else I would have made out of it. So I'm glad to have made a wearable item, but I don't, like the patterning is really lost in this yarn. It's a cotton and like recycled stuff yarn. I don't mind the yarn, I like the yarn. There's no wool at all in it, but you know, like it's not something that I would have gone out and purchased for this pattern, because I do think you lose the design a bit, but I do like it. Yes, I haven't worn it that much, but I could see myself wearing it a bit more. And the two other tops with sleeves are, actually no, one's cotton, one's silk. This is the Anchor Summer Shirt in Katia Espiga, which is a 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. And I've worn this a few times, even just like early in the morning when it's cool, or when I'm in air conditioning, because you know it's a DK weight, so it's not the coolest. Like I've got the air conditioning going now, and it's pretty hot today. It's about 31 degrees Celsius, which is about 88 Fahrenheit. So this would be too hot for something like this. I need the weather to get a bit cooler to wear this, but I really like it. I like the color. I think it's a good one on me, and I can see myself wearing that with probably just with blue jeans or a denim skirt. And my last top is the Cumulus tee, and I'm so happy with this. This is out of Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, and I used just over 3 skeins, and I had quite a dilemma over it. Seemed way too big, but then once I did the neckline, it really pulled it in, and I've worn this quite a few times with white pants, and yeah, I feel like it's really stylish, and I really like it. It's a really good work, you know, anywhere top, but I can definitely wear it to work. So they're my 7 tops with sleeves. Now, sleeveless tops, I made the Soho, I don't know if it's Soho top, Soho tank, and I used the recommended yarn for this, which is Purl Soho Sweetgrass in the colorway Rye Flower. And it's got I-cord edging and I-cord around here. I knit it flat instead of in the round because I just didn't want a purl, and that's the kind of, that's right, I seamed that in garter stitch. So you can see it like a seam, but I like it. Like, I actually think that's really, I like that look on the side. And have I worn this much? I've worn this once to work already, and I really like it. I'll definitely wear it more. I think when I finished it, I probably didn't have a lot of opportunities to wear it, but yes, I really, really liked that one. These piles are gonna start falling pretty soon. The Thea top, this was a real success. Really like this one. I've worn this a number of times to work. It is a great work top. I think I've widened the straps by 1 stitch. I used Sandnes Garn Lena, really, really nice yarn to work with, but a bit hard on my hands. Not everyone's the same, but for me, a bit hard on my hands. And yeah, I can't remember all the I mean, each of these, everything, I started podcasting like these weekly podcasts this year. So pretty much if you've been following my channel from the start, you will have seen all of these. So there's a video on all of this, like if you want to see more details. And I think I did a video on picking up stitches and various things. But yeah, I like this top, and that's a winner. I'm definitely going to wear that a lot. Actually, most of what I've made this year, I've been really, really happy with, and I can see myself wearing a lot. There's almost nothing, well, you'll see, there's a few things that I'm like, I haven't worn that yet, but yes. Now this is Camisole number 5. By My Favorite Things Knitwear. I knit it using Volmai's lace garn in the colorway Schwiefel. I only had 100 grams of this, and which I think is only about 500-ish meters. And so it's a little bit shorter than I might like, so it's fine as long as I'm wearing something that's not too low-waisted. But I've worn this a few times and I really, really like it. I think it's a great, okay, would I knit it again? Not in a hurry. There's a lot of double knitting. I'd probably knit it on a larger size needle. I definitely would make sure I've got more yarn. I would use a larger size needle. Like, it's pretty, it's got a lot of negative ease. It fits fine, you know, because it's ribbing, but I would make it a little bit bigger. So I don't know that I'd knit the next size up. I would maybe just go up a needle size, because it fits kind of okay around the armholes. I wouldn't want to go up a needle size and then have the, wouldn't want to go up a size and then have it like too low under my arms. But yes, that's a definite winner. I really like that. But yeah, it's a bit of a labor intensive pattern with all of that double knitting. Another top that was super quick and I really like it is the Audrey top by Petite Knit. It's very basic, very little finishing. I used a yarn that's definitely discontinued and I've had it for donkey's years. Online liney clip, it's 100% cotton, and I used a smaller needle to get gauge and to have it pretty, so it's not see-through. You can see it's black, so it's got lots of fluff attaching to it. But I can wear this without a bra, which was really critical for me because there's just no way you can, you can't, if you wear a bra, you're gonna see it, right? So even a strapless bra, because the armholes are pretty low, and it's also just the design. So because of the color, I can wear it without a bra. The only thing about that is, like, would I knit it again? Well, yes, but if I knit it in another color and it was, then maybe it would be see-through, and then what do I, like, or at least, I don't know, like, I think that would be a bit problematic if I knit it in. I'd have to knit it in a dark enough color. Like, I think this would be really lovely in a light color. I might have to look at some Ravelry projects to see how, like, does it look all right or in a lighter color? Or I could wear it in a lighter color and wear it to the beach over swimmers, because then that doesn't matter, because like your swimmers are underneath and it's fine. Like, you know, you're just gonna have a top and a skirt and your swimmers and you're gonna walk up to the cafe or whatever. So yes, but that's kind of a bit limiting then. I don't really like the idea of making a top that I can only really wear with swimmers to the beach. It seems, I don't know. But like, that's quite a heavy, like it's a DK weight cotton, DK/worsted, but it was very super quick knit. And I think you can start it from, I think it's meant to be bottom up. I think I worked from, I can't even remember what I did, but I know I wanted to get the length right. So I think I cast on at the middle, worked up, and then worked down again. Yep, something like along those lines. But yes, Audrey top by Petite Knit, and I really like it. Okay, this is one that I've not worn yet.Maybe I wore it once for a very short period of time for photos. I'm trying to think if I actually wore it anywhere. This is the mini mock neck tank by, I think, Jessie May Designs, if I have that right. I'm not sure. I'll put it down below if that's wrong. I think maybe there's something to do with the, I don't know, like obviously I lengthened it compared to the pattern, but yeah, maybe it's the color. I'm just not entirely sure. Yeah, it might just be the color. It might be the sort of high neck. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know why I haven't worn it, but I haven't worn it yet. So maybe I have to think, like, where am I going when I wear it? What do I wear it with? Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, I'll report back later actually if I start to wear it more, but I haven't really. So I'm not, anything that I haven't really worn, I'm not gonna make a repeat knit of it and then have two things that I'm not wearing. And my last top is the Pie Camisole, and this is by Nabita Jure, and I used knitting for olive cotton merino, and I used just over 2 balls of yarn. I love this. I've worn this a number of times. I'm sure it's the math knitter in me that appeals to me. Even though it's a fair, it's no sleeves, right? And I guess it's not a lot of knitting, but it's a fair bit. It took, I don't even think it took that long, because I was enjoying working with the yarn. I didn't feel like I had to take breaks from it because it didn't hurt my hands, and I was really keen to have it like done, and I love wearing it. It's obviously the maths teacher in me that likes the whole pie thing. I definitely want to make another one. Only thing is it's not really it's not really right for me for my work. It would be fine for teaching at Skein Sisters, but it wouldn't be all right at the school I teach at. So if I made another one, which I probably will at some point, I'd like to make another one, but I might make it in like a bright summery sort of like wear it with you know, like a white skirt or something for the beach. Yeah, or just out for lunch or whatever. So that is my tops, 13 tops. So it kind of, you know, I figure in a quarter I could probably knit 3 tops, you know, if all things were equal. Yeah, so that's my tops. As for my next thing that I'll talk about is socks. So I knit 8 pairs of socks, 4 Skimmer socks and 1 DK pair of socks which I gave away, a sport pair of socks which I gave to Mia, and 2 short socks that I'm not even sure. Oh, here's one. Here's one, and the other one I think needs some mending. So I think I caught it on something. I don't know. I've got to fix one of them. But anyway, here's a pair of. They're all pretty short socks actually. So this one is. I was knitting these kinds of like I think they're called Rose City Rollers for a while, but you can still see them, and I really wanted no-show socks. So that's where if you've been watching at all, you'll see that that's my, you know, sock pattern now is these Skimmer Socks Revisited by Sheila Toy Stromberg, and I've knit some out of, so this is all leftovers. It uses about 34 grams of yarn. So this is Mustache Yarns. This is, I think, Knit Picks Felici. This was, I'm not sure what this was. I think this was yarn that my aunt wasn't using and gave to me, so I can't remember what it was, but I used Madeline Tosh because I ran out Madeline Tosh Posy for the trim, which I really liked. And what am I doing now? This is some leftover yarn. This is what's her name? I can't remember. I'll put it down. Yeah, I'll put it down. I can't remember. It's not coming to me straight away. These were my first ones, and yes, this is just some leftover yarn. I think I made another pair of socks, and I also used this for my sorrel. So yes, it's a great stash busting. So 8 pairs of socks. So probably not quite one a month, but now that I'm making such short ones, I might roughly make one a month, I'd say, on average. Now shawls. I made 4 shawls and 3 scarves. And so the shawls that I made were Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry, and I used skein yarn in, I think the colour's Wisp, and it's 2 different kinds of yarn. There's like a single ply fingering weight and a silk mohair, and yep, it's really big, and I wear this quite a bit actually, because I don't think I really had a nice big grey shawl, and this is like enormous, you can see, and yes, I wear it a lot and I really like it. I don't think I'd make another one in a hurry. I really like this one, but it's a lot of knitting and it is pretty long, but I definitely use it and like it. Dotted Rays, so this is my first version by Stephen West, and I used Circus Tonic. That's what this was. It was Circus Tonic sock yarn, and this is also Circus Tonic yarn, but a different kind of yarn. Yes, and 2 different colors, and yeah, I sort of like blended striped when I switched from the light color to the darker color, and I wear this a lot actually. I really like this. Like, it's just a really nice, like, that's how I wear shawls. Like, I wear them like scarves, and yeah, I really like it. I think this is a lovely soft yarn, and just a great pattern too, and very easy and very wearable shape. And so that was just under 2 skeins. And my third, what did I say, 4 shawls. One, I made a Pebble Beach shawl for my mum. I'll put a picture up there. And I've made that many, by Helen Stewart. I've made that many times. I used skein yarn. I can't remember the kind of yarn I used, like the blend, but it was definitely skein yarn I got on D-Stash. And my last shawl is Exploration Station by Stephen West. And this is far and away my favorite. I used Madeline Tosh, Tosh Merino Light, pretty much all colors, neon peach, antler, not El Greco. I used, can't remember. It'll come to me later when I'm talking about something else. And then I picked up some yarn from Bendigo for this peachy color, and I think it's called Swish Yarns, and it didn't have a name, just a color number. So yep, I love this one. I think it adds like just that lovely pop of color if you're wearing like a white shirt, and similar, I probably put a little bit more effort into styling it, and like I try to show the, you know, sections, but yep, so that's my, I don't see myself making a lot of shawls this year. I've got quite a few, and yeah, I don't feel like I've got too many color holes in my wardrobe, so that's not a big focus for me. And the last thing is a pair of mitts. So I don't have those. I don't even know if I have a final photo of them, but I actually made 3 mitts, because I made one, a mitt had fallen apart of my daughter, so I made a replacement one with leftover yarn. I don't know why, like one was fine and the other one was eaten up. And then I made her a pair of black mitts. Oh, I forgot hats. How could I forget hats? So yes, so I made a pair of mitts and then hats now. Oh my goodness, so many hats. I made 14 hats this year. I don't even wear that many hats. It's not that cold that I wear hats, but I just love making them. And I think this is going to be a bit of I'm going to go through my knits and do a bit of donating. So, because I enjoy making them, but I can't wear them all, and my family doesn't wear them all, and I'd like to start giving them to other people who might wear them. So I made 7 of the Musselburgh hat. I made this one using Malabrigo sock in the colorway Ink, I think. This was Madeline Tosh Merino Light this was one that had 3 different colors to use up leftovers from a pullover. This is Skein Sisters, their fabulous sock in the colorway As You Wish. This is Hedgehog Fibers Skinny Singles, and this was the yarn that I tried to use for sorrel, but all of those browns just made it look really, really muddy, and so perfect for a hat, wasn't good for sorrel. This one, I really like this one actually. This one is Madeline Tosh Merino Light in Antler and Neon Peach. So you can wear it like, so half. You can wear it like that, or you can wear it the other way, that way. Yeah, I really like it. So I think that's pretty. And actually this one might be my favorite. This is Hedgehog Fibers, I can't remember the colorway, but Skinny Singles. And then this one, oh, this is the leftovers from the As You Wish shawl. That's the skein yarn, the fingering weight. So that's a 2-color one. And I think that's probably my favorite way of doing these hats, is 2 colors. And it uses about a whole skein. So if you had 2 skeins, you could make 2 hats, but because they're reversible, you're really just making 2 of the same thing. So you could give one away, keep one for yourself, or give the yarn away to someone who knits if you wanted. Oh, and then my last one, this is Madeline Tosh. It's a base that they've discontinued, something Euro sock maybe, in the colorway Chill Pill. And yeah, this one's quite nice too actually. Yeah, so, but I just can't see, okay, I have to sort of pick my favorites and then give the rest away. Oh, so that's just the Musselburgh hats. I made 2, I've made 2 Oslo hats. One in Madeline Tosh Twist DK in the colorway Neon Red, and I love this one. I'm not giving this one away, I really like this color. And this one I might give away because it goes with my field sweater, but I wouldn't wear it with my field sweater. And I like it though. So this is the same yarn as my field sweater, it was just leftovers, but that's my first Oslo hat with Mohair. I made the Grayson hat using Biche Bush Legros lamb's wool with Rowan Kid Silk Haze. I found this one was really, the fluff was really starting to bother me. I haven't noticed it in this one because the fluff, maybe it's the large needle size. So with this one here, because it's knit on a large needle, maybe it's just not trapping the mohair as well. Maybe it's the Rowan Kid Silk Haze as opposed to the Isia yarn. I don't know what the difference is, like as in why the mohair here was kind of getting in my face. So yeah, maybe it's just the larger needle size, the larger gauge. Reasonable. Wouldn't recommend. Would I knit this one again? Yeah, I mean it's a quick hat. I still had some trouble with the decrease, but I think I managed to figure out what it was meant to happen. Yeah, I probably would. It's a really basic 1x1 ribbed hat though, with a decrease round that's confusing. So, but I would probably knit it again. but maybe not with, definitely not with Rowan Kid Silk Haze. So that's, I guess that's what's concerning me with it. Like, is it, maybe I'll try it with something like the Isia yarn and see if it bothers me. Maybe it might just be something on a large needle size that's problematic. And the last one that I can show you is the Purl Soho Classic Ribbed Hat. I really like this one. It's really lovely, and so I used Madeline Tosh MCN Sport in the colorway Stovepipe, and this was left over from a sweater that I made my husband. I think that's why I like hats so much. They're just so good for leftovers, and often with yarn for sweaters and things, I've got about that much left over, and they're also really small and portable. And yep, I really like this one. Now the other ones that I have made this year that aren't here to show, I made a black beanie with mohair with the same yarn that I used for the mitts for my daughter Mia. I made like a maroon hat for my mum, and then I also made a hat for Skein Sisters for a class that I teach. So that one just stays in my class, all my class materials. Whew. So that's my 53 knits, finished objects this year. So that's a lot. I hope that wasn't too boring if you've already watched my other videos, but you know what, I think the upshot of that is I don't wear the hats that much because the weather doesn't suit it, but I love making them, and I will start giving some of them away, and or at least, you know, asking if someone actually will wear them, and if they're not, because we don't go to the snow that often and it doesn't get that cold here. And maybe I just pick like my favorite navy hat, you know, or my husband picks his favorite navy hat, and then that's it. Because you find you just end up wearing the same one over and over again anyway. Yes, but generally, like everything that I've made, I've really worn, or it's been not cold enough to wear yet, but I'm really happy with it and I plan to wear it. So like another pile plus all my shawls, like this is like, it's a little bit out of control in terms of the amount of knitting that I've done, but you know, it's very rare that I just knit. So the field sweater, I had to just knit for the yoke, but other than that, I'm usually reading, I'm walking, I'm watching TV, I'm watching some professional development video, I'm sitting with my son while he's doing his maths homework, I'm waiting somewhere, I'm in line, I'm, you know, like it's the thing I take with me while I'm doing something else. And I'm not sure if that's, like, people might say that that's not a healthy way to live, like, as in you should be fully present in everything that you're doing. But I find it makes it easier for me to, like, I feel more restful when I'm waiting. I don't feel, it relieves anxiety for me. And it just, yeah, like, I don't know, and I love it, right? So it's okay, it's not hurting anybody. But it's probably is good for me to like make sure I keep it in balance with the rest of my life, and I'm not like that it's the other thing first and the knitting goes with it, rather than the knitting first and I'm trying to find things to do while I knit. So like the other day, well, I guess that's not really what this video is about, but yeah, I mean, yesterday I went to the beach with my husband, and I could have been, and it was a beautiful day, and I was going to go to work and do a few things in there and knit while I was at work, but I was like, it's gorgeous, I want to go to the beach. So we went to the beach, and then I did some work in the afternoon. So it's all about balance. And I mean, this may not seem balanced, but for me it is. So we'll see how we go next year. I don't think I'll be knitting as much next year because I am busier at work, but this has kind of at least helped inform me with my plans. So I'm going to put all this aside and talk a little bit about my plans for the first quarter of 2024. I don't think I can plan much past that. So my plans for 2024, one of the things that I find in my plans section of my regular video is I'm often repeating myself with plans of I'm going to make it at some point. So I'm going to stop doing that and just in that plans section really just focus on what might I cast on this week, or what I'm really planning to. So I really already have to have the yarn and have it decided and swatched and everything, because otherwise it just gets a bit repetitive. So the things that I plan to make in the first quarter, I'm pretty solid on. So, and I already have the yarn, and I'm about to order it. So I'll start with hats. I already have one Oslo hat with mohair on the needles now. So I've got 2 more planned with knitting for Olive, Merino and silk mohair in ballerina, and I want to make another one in these 3 yarns I've mentioned before from Japan, Brooklyn Tweed Loft, this cashmere, and this Darima silk mohair. So there, I've already got 1 to finish and then 2 more, so that will be 3, and I'm roughly made 1 hat a month, so that 3 hats in that 1 quarter sounds about right. Skimmer socks, I've already got 1 on the needles. I've almost finished the first sock, so 2 more pairs of skimmer socks, and I'll probably use some leftover like just whatever I can grab. I just found this is Madeline Tosh sock, and I've got, I don't quite have enough of this, so I might have to do, let's say, all the ribbing in another color. And then I found this other 3 Mums sock yarn in this grey and pink. Same thing, I don't have quite enough, but I'll just do all the ribbing and something else. Maybe not that pink, or something that will go well. So, and they're really good walking knitting projects. Shawls, when I finish Dotted Rays, which should be pretty quickly because I've only got about 40 grams left, I'm gonna make the half and half wrap. Now that's a big shawl that is 3 skeins of each of the Purl Soho linen quill in red poppy and baby bird blue. So that is definitely going to, that's like the 1 shawl plan that I have for the quarter. I don't see myself doing anything more than that. And I'm just generally trying to be a little bit like, because I think I'll have less time to knit, just sort of reducing a bit. Tops, I did 13 tops, so I averaged about 1 top a month. And so I've already got cami number 4 started, and I'm using, I'll just grab the swatch of it here, using Knitting for Olive pure silk. And I think the other 2 things that I want to make, I figured out, I've got this Knitting for Olive bark, Knitting for Olive cotton merino in the colorway bark, and I'm going to make Camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. So I checked with that pie camisole, and after wearing it, you know, checking my gauge again, it was around 30 stitches, even though like when I was first knitting it, I was getting about 35, but after wear it stretched out to 30, which is still, you know, pretty dense gauge. And that's the gauge for Camisole number 9. So I'm gonna make that, and that should be a nice work top. And the other top that I plan to make, well, I had planned Early Bloomer, but I'm not solid on the yarn yet, so I don't really, so maybe I've only just got 2, oh, I know what. The Kuutar top by Sari Nordlund. I'll just grab that yarn. There we go. Because that's, I just want to be like, what have I actually got yarn for, rather than just buying more yarn or trying to figure it out. So yes, that will be another top. They're my 3 tops. So all sleeveless actually. This and all like non-wool tops, which is probably pretty good because it's still pretty hot and summery here. It is summer. And so that's my top plans. So I'm almost like, now the only other thing is sweaters. Now if I made 10 either pullovers or dresses, so close to 1 a month. So I don't want to, you know, go too crazy, but I do think, like, one thing I've noticed is my plans right now is they're all pretty heavier weight things, which might go quicker. Funnily enough, they all look like they're going to be on a 4.5mm needle. So I'm this is the yarn, this Derirum Natura Juliet in the colorway CL that I need to get some more from Sunspun, but I'm going to use that for Snow Wonder. I swatched for the clay cardigan, so I had a bit of a rethink of my plans. I was going to hold this BC Garn Loch Lomond with some Knitting for Olive silk mohair, and I was going to do Magnolia Bloom for that, but I think the gauge was just going to be too light. So I've knit this swatch, and I've actually got gauge on a 5mm needle for the clay sweater by Ozetta, but I actually think it's a little bit open. I don't love it on that at that gauge, even though I hit gauge. So I think, and it's a super oversized sweater, so I think I'm going to go down to a 4.5mm needle and just accept that it will make it a tiny bit smaller. It is very oversized, and I'm fine with that, but I think that might just make it a bit more like normal oversized for me, not like completely voluminous. And the last plan, oh, actually 2 more. Well, this isn't a sweater, this is a slipover. So I do want to make the Stockholm slipover, and I use some, I swatched some Rowan felted tweed that I had with this soft blue. This is knitting for olive silk mohair. So holding those together, I was in two minds about this. I sort of was like, oh, Stockholm Slipover, I really like the look of it, but do I want it with the tweed, or do I want it just plain, like as in just this with the matching knitting for olive merino? And I got 4 balls of this, which is way more than enough. That's 900 meters. But Skein Sisters does actually have 4 more of this in stock in the knitting for olive merino, exactly 4 in soft blue, which is the and I had a look on Ravelry at those yarns these two held together, and they look really nice. So even though this looks nice, it's a different look. It's a tweed look, and I already have a tweedy kind of grey vest. Well, it's not blue, I guess it's grey blue. Boardwalk by Heidi Kiermaier. So I mean, this is quite different. It's quite a different vest. I would be making it more oversized. Boardwalk is quite fitted. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna wait. Beck's coming, so today's Saturday, Beck's coming on Monday, and we might go to, probably will go to Skein Sisters. So if they're still there, I will, I might even buy 1 ball and just swatch with it, because I'll have at least 1 ball of this left over, even if I make it in this, and just quickly swatch with it at the store. And if I like it, and I think I'd prefer it, then I'll get all 4. Yes, so that, oh, and I guess one last thing. So that's only a vest. So I've got Snow Wonder and the Clay Sweater, which are both largish gauge and 4.5mm needles, and that's a vest. So the other one is the pink Ilha dress, using this yarn that I got, Amarisu Trek fingering in this really great pink color. I do wear those dresses. I really like them, and I can see myself having, really be happy to have another one in my wardrobe. I still like the champagne cardigans in there as well, but I just want to be realistic, right? That's 4 biggish garments, 1 dress, a vest, and 2 biggish sweaters, like largish gauge sweaters. So I think that's enough. And so what I'll do in my regular videos, I'm not just going to keep going, here are the, the things that I've mentioned now, unless they vastly change, I'll just be, in my plans, will just be this, out of these, this is what I think I'll cast on this week. I think that way hopefully will get less boring, and also just sort of kind of keep me on track. And I think that's it for my plans. And like, I still want to make the stripe pipe sweater, but again, I'm just like, nope, just focus on these things for this quarter. And I'll still do a what has caught my eye segment though, because that's like, I'm still gonna like, because what about my plans for the next quarter? It'll come from that segment probably. So, right, I feel like I've just been like, I need to go get a drink of water. Thank you very much for watching. I will be back early next week, probably record on Tuesday with Beck. And yeah, so that will be my next segment. So thank you for watching. And if you're new here, I hope you enjoyed the things that this is kind of what my what my channel is about, what I knit. And usually, as you'll see, if any of this interested you, you could go back to the video where I talk about it, because usually in there I will have talked about any changes I made, modifications, something I learned, something I fixed, something I made a mistake on, or yeah, that's kind of what my channel's about. If you're new here, if you're a regular viewer, you know what it's about. Anyway, that's enough for now. I'm going to get off and edit this, and yeah, go have a drink of water. All right, have a great few days, and I'll see you soon. Bye.